Welcome to Bath, and well, not just anywhere in Bath, this is Abbey Green, and it's quite famous for this large tree that's here. Walked past it loads before, photographed it loads before, but I've never photographed it on 4x5. I certainly never photographed it in 6x17. So I've been here over the last couple of months a few times, just during the day, and I've always got my phone out and looked for a composition around here. And although it absolutely looks beautiful, it is quite difficult because you're sort of constrained on all sides about how far back you can stand up and how much of the tree you actually get in the shot. Also, there's a bit of a difficulty because there is some scaffolding up on this building here. So really, I've only got this side shooting that way to go at, which to be fair I think is the best side, because I quite like the pub on the other side there and the buildings and bits and pieces, and the light is sort of coming from that direction, so should be signed onto that. You just about see the top of it on top of this pub that's there. But yeah, the goal of today is to try and get a 6x17 shot of this location. I'm having to keep my voice down a little bit. Obviously there's people sleeping in the buildings above and that sort of thing, but yeah, I'm in the centre of Bath today, and we're going to try and get a nice shot of this tree. But when I've been here before and I've tried to sort of get the Viewfinder app out and have a look for compositions, the issue I've always found is where to place this tree. If I go where the scaffolding is, I can't get back far enough with the lenses that I've got to get, you know, enough either side of the tree in to see what you're sort of shooting at. There's almost too much tree in the shot, which I'll show you. I'll put up on the screen as I'm talking through my thoughts on this. So the other option is to come in on like this side and just have like the tree in the corner as like a hard stop at the end of the image, and then get the pub in. But again, it's more about the tree in this square, so it's difficult with the constraints you've got in this square. So I have got my 4x5 camera. I've only got black and white for it, but I have brought my 90mm lens out, which I've been leaving at home lately because I've not really been using it, because it doesn't work with a 6x17 setup, because you can't get focus with that 90mm lens. So the widest lens I've got for that is 135, which is, like I say, it's difficult. So I'm going to walk around now with the Viewfinder app. Well, there's nobody here, because whenever I come normally there's like hundreds of people here, there's tourists everywhere, but yeah, this time I've got my ass out of bed early enough to get here when there isn't anyone else here. So I'm going to just take a bit of time now and get a composition lined up, and then I'll get set up. So yeah, we'll have a nice wander around here, and then I think I'll have coffee afterwards, I think. But let's get this shot first. So there's nothing like a nice peaceful shoot first thing in the morning, getting somewhere early and just having the silence of sort of nature, listening in. That's beautiful, isn't it? Of course I had to choose the day, which is bin day today. So the one annoyance I've got in this shot is the fact that the pub has got their bins out the front, and they're very distracting. Every time I've been here before, the bins aren't there, and I have seen the bin men this morning milling about, so obviously it's bin day. But yeah, I've got to contend with these guys cleaning the streets, which, you know, they've got to get out and do early before everyone gets the punters get into town, I suppose. But yeah, there was me sort of getting here early this morning saying to myself, I'll have to be quiet when I do this video because I don't want to wake people up. You know, people don't want to hear my dulcet tones first thing in the morning. And then these guys here turn up and straight out of the power wash. But never mind. So yeah, so back to this scene. I am excited about it. I'm sort of stood here for the one reason that, and I've got another video planned in Bournemouth actually to do some sort of retro building shooting, because I don't know about you guys, but landscape photography in the we're not in the height of summer yet, but we're just sort of creeping towards summer. And we got some beautiful weather in the UK at the moment. Short weather. It's just clear blue skies. There was a bit of mist about this morning actually, which was quite nice. But yeah, generally it's clear blue skies, and you know, 25 degrees, real nice and hot. It's great. Not so great for landscape photography, and a lot of people say it, and a lot of people just hibernate during the summer times. But I don't like hibernating at any time of year when it comes to photography. I like getting out and doing everything. So what I tend to do is I've got a loose set of boxes that I will put certain shoots into, and they're not constrained by them boxes, because I believe turning up to different locations with different weather will obviously yield different results, and some will work and some won't work. And it's the some will work and some won't work, and as you get more experience, you'll sort of learn what works and what doesn't work. So an example of that is, take today. It's a clear blue sky, the sun's up, it's going to be pretty harsh pretty quickly, and I sort of think, well, I'm not going to go to a beach location to shoot a sunrise at a beach, say down at Durdle Door or Woolacombe or anywhere, not Woolacombe, Kimmeridge, or places like that, where you've got a leading line of maybe some sort of ledges and stuff within the sea, and you've got the sea coming backwards and forwards. You're looking for a bit of a long exposure, and then you've got the sunrise. Ideally on them locations, I like a bit of cloud, so when the sunrise, hopefully it catches the cloud and you get all the colours sort of kicking off of that sunrise. On a clear blue day, you're not going to get that. So what I tend to do is avoid that, because I've been there and I've got them sort of shots, and for me personally, I don't like that sort of shot. I like my sunrise at a beach to have some cloud, so I generally look for about between 60 and 80% cloud cover, and then I'll go down there in the hope that the sun, when it rises, will catch them clouds and make everything light up beautifully. So then I think, well, okay, if that's in that sort of box, if I'm going to go to a mountain location, then I'm going to want some mist, I'm going to want some drama. I might go on a sort of a rainy, grey day where the cloud cover is low, so you're going to get some mist and not mist, but low clouds sort of rolling in over the mountains and that sort of thing. I might go on a day where it's going to be partly sunny, sort of, again, 60 to 8% cloud, you know, that sort of thing. And so I'm sort of left with, I guess many people have got the same issue. You're left with this issue of, what do you do on a clear day where there's just no detail in the sky whatsoever? So for me, I will look for shots like this, where I'm in a sort of city location and I'm not interested in what the sky's doing. It's want to bring anything to this scene whatsoever. So in fact, I don't really want it in the shot at all. I've got a little bit in the corner above the pub in the shot, because obviously I do want to capture some of the canopy of the tree, which is quite high. So I'm going to have to get some of that sky in, but it doesn't bring anything to the shot. So for me, on a sunny day, I'm sort of thinking, you know, city locations, because I quite like the harshness, that the light hitting the building and causing the lines on the street and everything. That sort of thing there, I really like, and I like that stark contrast between the shadow area and the bright area, and I think it really does work nicely in black and white, as well as colour, to be fair, but I prefer black and white in that situation. So so this sort of location here, in my head anyway, lends itself to days where you're not going to get to the beach, or you're not going to go up a mountain, because it's just clear blue sky. And yeah, photography wise, in my book anyway, it's not a great location to go to when you've got them sort of conditions. So this would be one spot, and then, like I say, the other location I'm looking at is shooting some Art Deco buildings in Bournemouth. I've seen quite a few about. I went down there the other day and did a bit of scouting mission, so there's about 4 or 5 that I've spotted. Some will work, some won't work, but I've sort of earmarked that and put it in the box of bright blue sky, sunny day, because I want the blue. I don't want any just scratching in the sky. I actually want to capture the sky in the scenes, but I want it to be just one tone blue, and then the buildings, generally Art Deco buildings, are white, so I want that bright white, and I want the whole scene to be bright and sort of airy, and that's what I'm looking for there. But so that definitely goes in that box. So it's just a tip really, that on, you know, blue sky days, you know, just blue, no cloud days, just try and think outside the box. Think of different things that you can shoot, you know, cityscapes and just different, maybe different architecture that would suit that. So yeah, so that's just my my thinking, and one of the reasons why I'm still here today, to be honest, because like I say, it is a clear blue sky, and I thought, well, there's no point going anywhere else, so I come here and give this a go. So right, I've loaded this up now. What I've got in here is Kodak Gold 200. I'm going to shoot a roll of colour first, and then I'm going to shoot some black and white, and I'm going to compare what I prefer. I think I'm going to prefer black and white, but until I actually see them, not sure yet. So yeah, I quite like the colour of the building, the green on the tree, the colour of the tree, and then just the, you know, just the building colours we've got going on there. I like them. So yeah, I'm going to get this back on and wait for a bit more light, I think. But it is beautiful, apart from the bins. Right, so I've just done some metering. There is some issues here, and that is just the dynamic range of this scene. Now the tree is, well, it's quite dark in the darkest areas, and then now I've got sun on the building, that's quite bright. So I'm dealing with probably 8 stops of dynamic range here, maybe 9. So I'm really pushing this film in terms of dynamic range quite a lot. So I've just had to try and sort of lift the shadows a bit, because I want to make sure that the tree isn't just black. It's important I have detail there. If I do lose a bit on the building at its brightest parts, I'm not massively worried about that, but it's just one of them things that's a little bit frustrating, and I'm just going to have to work with, really. So I'm going to protect the darker areas, and I'm going to know that I'm probably going to lose some of the highlights on this one. And I've just now got a street cleaner come onto the scene, so I'm going to have to wait for him to come through. I have actually had the bin men come round. They haven't emptied the cardboard waste yet, but they've done the general waste, so just a bit of information for you there. Right, so it looks like the street cleaning guy's gone, which is handy. So now just to choose some settings, I'm going to go with F16, and that's given me somewhere 15th of a second, and we're going to give that a go. Let's get a test shot done. Not sure if it's working all right, which it is. Right, let's get this first shot in the bag. Fingers crossed. I'm not too confident in these shots today, and the reason why I'm not is because I just had a look for the back of the viewfinder, and when I was sort of composing the shot, and what I could see was that there was some sort of light coming from what would be the top of the lens. Now I put my sort of hand over everything, and I couldn't see that it then immediately shaded that, so I'm not quite sure what was going on there, but it was like there was some sort of light leak. And I said on the last video I did the Tree Line Avenue that I had an issue with a couple of the shots having light coming in from the top of the frame. Right, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there with that with the lens, but it only seems to happen on this 135mm lens, so I'm going to be interested to see whether that's still an issue or not. And I have now got glare coming from the sun. Is quite brightly reflecting off one of the windows of the building, so I'm just going to try and sort of shield that best I can, but I'm not quite sure what's going on there. That's it, first shot in the bag. So I'm excited about that one. I say just fingers crossed that it comes out. Right, I'm going to get on and take a second shot here, and then I might just sort of leave it a bit and let some more light fall on the scene. Just do a test shot. It's all firing fine. this second one taken. That's it, second shot in the bag. What I've actually done, curse of colour for me, is I've actually just double exposed the same image. Oh my god, I can't believe I did that. This is what getting out of bed early does to me. Right, let's take this second shot again. I've got someone walking across the scene now. I quite like a human element to a frame as well. I know a lot of people don't, but I quite like that. So I'm going to wait till he gets in the archway down there before I take the shot. Of course, the only problem with that is 15th of a second is probably going to be, it's going to probably blur him a little bit. I could do with a faster shutter speed to sort of get him nailed on. There we go. Right, so hopefully that shot comes out, because certainly the first one being double exposed probably won't. Past 7 o'clock in the morning, as you can probably hear the bells chiming in the background there. Oh, they stopped now, of course they have. Anyway, right, let's get on and take frame number 3. Now the light's changed slightly. I ain't got the same glare off that window up there now. Right, that's that shot taken. Wind on to number 7. Oh dear, I still can't believe I messed up that first shot. Yeah. Weirdly enough though, it is one of the things that makes me enjoy film photography so much. Sometimes I think it is really easy just to, you know, the phones are great, absolutely brilliant for taking photos nowadays, especially like the new iPhone and that sort of thing, and the new Samsungs and that are out there. Just sort of incredible, the image quality you can get on from and stuff. But I think sometimes it's just too easy to get the phone out. It does everything for you. You press the button, you get an amazing shot, you put it back in your pocket and you move on. And it takes away that element of not getting the shot and messing up and sort of learning from mistakes and all that sort of stuff. So yes, they're great in one thing, but like I say, that's what in a weird way attracts me to film photography, is just the fact that I can make a mistake doing this, and then I've got to think, well, what was that mistake I just made, and then try and learn it again, because I could make exactly the same mistake next time I go out, which is what I seem to keep doing whenever I come out and shoot in colour, which is frustrating. But anyway, never mind, schoolboy error. I'll never learn. I'd like to say that I'll never make that mistake again, but I definitely will do, guarantee you that. Right, so the eagle-eyed viewers amongst you will have noticed I've actually changed location. What I've done is I've moved the camera across from where I was stood, probably about 10 metres, something like that, and I've actually changed to the 180mm lens. I think I liked that shot there. I was a little bit worried about the 135mm lens and just that bit of sort of light that I've got sort of coming in that I can see in the top of the frame. I don't know what's going on with that. I've changed over to the 180mm lens, and I don't see that through the when I'm looking for the viewfinder, so well, the ground glass I should say. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. So here we go. Right, so I've moved again. What I've done is I've just come away from the corner of that building, because I was a little bit worried that there's like a phone box type thing there, and I just worried that I was catching that in the corner of my frame. So I've moved this way just a little bit, a couple of meters, Like I said, I'm just finding this a little bit difficult, this shot. Just trying to get everything in and work within the constraints I've got in the scene, like the scaffolding, and just trying to get the most pleasing shot out of this scene is actually proving quite difficult. I mean, when you stand here and you're not taking a shot, it just looks beautiful, especially the light coming through now and hitting the pub that's in the corner there, and the way it's sort of coming through the tree and everything, it just looks beautiful. But actually capturing that, what I'm seeing in front of me is proving quite difficult. But anyway, what I've done is I've changed over to Delta 100, and I'm going to shoot for a couple of shots here, then I might move somewhere else and try and take a couple of shots and see what else I can get here. So I've styled in at the moment because I've already metered the scene, so I'm at f16 and a third, it gives me 1/8 of a second, so I'm going to get on and take my first shot. Just roll on to the second one. There is a couple of people walking through the scene now, so they might bring some interest. Just going to wait for him to get in the gap in the archway and then take this one. Come over, take the dark slide out, of course. Gotta hurry up. That's it, got him. So I'm always sort of one of these people who sits on the fence really on whether a scene like this is better with people in it, the human element, or it's whether it's better just as it is, quiet, no one around, no one in the frame, just before sort of the city comes to life really. Always torn between that. So we're glad I've managed to get, you know, a shot with a couple of people in it and a shot with just nothing. So yeah, so I'm probably just going to have a walk around the square again with the Viewfinder app and just see if there's any other compositions. Okay, I've had a wander around and I think I'm just going to stay with what I've got, and I'm going to take my last couple of frames in the same location. The sun now sort of is rising in the sky now obviously and casting a lot more light onto the bottom of the around the tree now and onto the building and stuff, so I think it warrants just staying where I am. Like I said, I just couldn't quite get a composition to work just having walked around it all. Perhaps, like I say, if the scaffolding was out the way, I know there's like an entrance that walks back, I could like set the camera back far enough to be able to get all the tree in and the buildings either side, but for whatever reason I just can't get it to work other than in this corner, and even stood here I'm not sure that I'm too happy with the composition that I've got, but I'm going to work with it, and I'm going to get these last couple of shots taken. So I'll just do a test shot. Yep. Right, let's get on and shoot this. That's it, one more to go. Now I have got some 4x5 Delta 100 with me, and I'm tempted just to sort of walk around and see if I can get some portrait stuff, which is well outside of my comfort zone. Right, let's get this last shot taken. That's it, last one done. Hopefully, fingers crossed, these all come out. Right, I'm packed up, obviously apart from the camera. Let's go and do some street photography with the 4x5. And I think I've got 6 sheets of Delta 100, so I'm just going to sort of have a walk around the streets, not walk too far, and just see what I can get with the 4x5 like it is. I might even stop someone and ask them if I can take their photo. Although with people sort of rushing around to get to work and school now, because I've seen some kids running around, I'm probably assuming I'm not going to get anybody to partake in a photo, but yeah, let's see what we can find anyway. So let's get on with it. Right, so I've just been in this shop here, or this coffee house, the Colombian company, and these guys have kindly agreed to letting me inside and taking a shot of inside their coffee shop there, because it looks amazing in there. So I'm going to shoot Delta 100 in there, and I'm going to take a couple of frames and hopefully they come out. But yeah, it looks pretty cool in there. So I did promise them that I'd send them the photos afterwards. I've got fingers crossed that they actually come out. But yeah, I need to get in there. It's quite a small shop, so they've got a massive tripod, so I need to try and get in there without disturbing all the customers as well. So yeah, hopefully these shots come out. Right, so I just got a shot there of the tree, 4x5. Couldn't really speak on the camera a minute ago because there was two people having a domestic. But yeah, it was 4x5, Delta 100, f22 and a third, 4 for a second.
Might be a cheap